And welcome to the Hit Squad. Chad Range alongside Jesse Finney. In this week's webisode, we're going to be breaking down the UFC free on Fox. It all happened in Seattle. And I really saw the undercard. I had a date night with the wife, and she wouldn't let me leave. I kind of need to apologize to Bobby Volker. I watched the first round, and she's like, "We got to go." And the moment I leave, I find out he gets knocked out in the second. But it was a good fight. Great fight there. I really, it was kind of what I expected it to be. A lot of heavy hitting in that one. And but I want to start with the top. Demetrius Johnson defeating John Moraga. Good for DJ. I mean, he's moved up the power rankings now. I believe he is 6th on the pound for pound. He looked good. Submission over Moraga, and people are really, talking about this guy.
The thing is Moraga actually was a way better opponent than I actually gave him credit for. Going into the fight, I didn't think Moraga was going to be all that. But then I started looking him up, and the kid can bang, and the kid is a two-time All-American wrestler. I mean, that says something right there. I mean, you got to look at it like DJ's the best 125er in the world, and he's going out. And I was a little worried because I was believing the hype on how good this kid was, and I started reading more on him. I'm like, damn, this kid is really good.
Yeah.
So DJ's actually he's the best 125er in the world for a reason.
And I mean, he had a great go. He moves up to number 6 in the pound for pound. Did you happen to see what Ian McCall said about him, though? Yeah, on MMA Junkie, he says he's a dork and he needs to be cool. I mean, do you think there's something to
Whenever you can beat DJ, then you can pop off.
That's what Uncle Creepy is that guy's nickname.
Uncle Social Twitter.
Yeah,
I mean, you're a hell of a keyboard warrior. So until you can go out and you can beat DJ, then shut up.
Do you think that people look for someone who is cool, or is it just really inside the octagons where it happens?
At the end of the day, it's going to be all about the octagon, and yeah, of course, people are going to have fans because of people's the character.
Right.
I guess we can.
Great way to put it. I think.
But at the same time, hey man, it's a fight, and you know what? It's called mixed martial arts for a reason. If you're a true fan of mixed martial arts, you're going to want the better fighter to win.
We want to know what you have to say. Of course, you can hit us up on hitsquad@101sports.com. That is our email. At Twitter @hitsquad101ESPN. Rory McDonald and Jake Ellenberger.
Laid an egg.
Boy, it was. Shades of Machida, kind of.
I agree with you, but I think this is a problem that has plagued boxing forever. If you take a loss, you're going to go straight down in the crapper. And I think that they both played it so safe that they both won just to get that win. And once they got that win, they knew what was next for them. That can really hurt mixed martial arts, and it can also, it's what killed boxing there for a while. You couldn't get a loss. But at the same time, if you also look at it like this, Roy McDonald, he did what he had to do. He got the W. If I was his coach, call me crazy here, I want Roy McDonald to go out there. And to get to that point, no, I wouldn't tell Roy McDonald this. But what I would tell Roy McDonald, we have a game plan. We have to stick with it. We have to get the W. And we have to get our W, then we get the big paydays. And then we're looking at bigger and better things.
So that's what you think he did, or is this what
That's what I know he did.
And
I'm not saying that, and I hate to say this, you're probably going to hate me for saying this. I'm not saying he's wrong for doing what he did. Okay, now granted, and the reason why he's not wrong, because you got to look at it from both sides. The fans are pissed off, and I don't blame the fans for being pissed off. Okay, but I also can say this: if Roy McDonald goes out and loses to Jake Ellenberger and gets taken down and gets laid on the whole time, guess what? Then all of a sudden you say, oh well, he fought a stupid fight. Well, at the same time, he fought a smart fight. I'm not saying it's going to be the most exciting fight. I didn't see that fight going that way. I saw it being a great fight. I'm glad it wasn't main event because I would have thought that it was a complete bust.
Complete bust is a
But
main
at the same
event.
time, you also got to say, hey, man, Roy McDonald went out and he fought his best ability to win that fight and to put him next in line for the title.
And just on a side note, him and GSP have both said, we're not fighting each other, basically. It's not going to happen. Kind of the same thing with...
I agree with you, but I also say this, I don't want to fight anybody that would be in our camp, but at the same time, you're putting millions and millions of dollars on it. Dana White said it best, and I don't know if he was the guy that said, but I thought I heard this, said, listen, he's got to get, GSP's got to get through Johnny Hendricks.
Right, yeah.
GSP's got to get through Johnny Hendricks. Fight. And there's nothing to talk about until GSP gets through Johnny Hendricks. Then, mark my words, then what happens is, then GSP beats Johnny Hendricks, then the talking will start.
But we've talked about
and there's no reason to talk about it until then.
Well, we'll always talk about it. I mean, that's what we do. And it obviously goes with Cormier, taking on someone out of his camp. It's the same thing. And he's dropping down so he doesn't have to fight Kane. And I was going to ask that, isn't anything possible if you put dollar signs next to it?
Absolutely.
I would think so, and the UFC has the backing. If they're going to, pay these guys, you think, well, friendship aside, This is my job.
This is your job. At the same time, there's a lot of guys that you've got to, once they become 1 and 2, then you can talk about it. Yes, it's something to talk about, but I don't think that you got to force the issue until it becomes 1 and 2.
Absolutely. Robbie Lawler taking on Bobby Volker. We talked about it. I read a great article today on Bobby Volker that it really praised him for doing what he does.
Well, 8 guys turned down that fight.
Right.
8 guys turned. Is that the article you?
Well, it said he went out on his shield, basically saying, and I thought they were a little hard on Bobby, to be honest. It said he really got beat up in the first round. They had no, right from the get-go, you could tell he was going to lose, but he never once backed down, and he did what he did. He didn't try to go to the ground with it, try to change something else. He did what Bobby Volker does, and he said he'd do. I'm going to stand there toe-to-toe.
He sat in there toe-to-toe, and at the same time, I mean, hey, man, that was a win-win opportunity. If you lose to Robbie Lawler, you're fighting one of the top, I'm going to say this, and this is something I don't want to talk about, but top 2 or 3 guy in the world. Okay, but at the same time, you're going to fight Robbie Lawler. You're on national TV. The UFC did him right. The UFC has done some other things I can't really talk about on air, but they took good care of Bobby Volker.
Good.
8 guys turned down that fight. 8 guys turned that fight on him. And you call Bobby Volker in 2 weeks' notice. Bobby said, you know what? I'm a company guy. I'll stand up and I'll do this. And you know what? Hey, reward me for it. But, man, he went out and fought like a champ.
I thought he delivered. Absolutely. I mean, yeah.
He got called, and he got head kick knockout, 1 punch, Robbie, and then that was it. Hey, good for Bobby stepping up. I give him all the kudos in the world. And, hey, man, you understand something. A fight's a fight. Mm-hmm. Let's fight.
Carmouche, Liz Carmouche, she did get a win.
She dominated.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, going against Jessica Andretti. So, I mean, obviously it's going to come back up. How many more fights before she gets another shot at Ronda?
I'd say probably 2 more.
2 more fights?
2 more, and then let's see how Ronda does with Misha Tate. So once she does that, then we'll go from there. But I mean, I think Liz Carmouche beats Misha Tate right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and that would be an interesting fight, absolutely. Just some other quick news. Tito Ortiz going with Bellator meeting Rampage Jackson pay-per-view on November 2nd. Good for Bellator. I mean,
I think it's great. I think it's great for Bellator. I think
absolutely.
It's 2 guys that are completely out of their prime. Both of those 2 know how to sell.
But big names.
Sell a damn fight.
There you go.
Those
exactly.
2 can sell a
I
fight,
thought
that's good news. I mean, that's big for mixed martial arts, because if there's another big second organization out there, it's good for the fighters.
No, absolutely. UFC champ John Jones delays heavyweight move, says Teixeira is interesting. What do you think about that?
He's interesting because he's the second best guy in the world.
Teixeira?
So, yes.
Behind John Jones?
Yes.
There you go.
And I'd like to see that fight. I'd like to see it sooner than later.
That was my exact question.
Man, I want that.
How
fight.
long before we need to get John Jones in a marquee matchup? Wouldn't you say? But I mean, you don't want to. It's kind of like the Pacquiao kind of. You have these guys out there. We want to see big fights.
You're talking Teixeira in a big matchup.
That'd be a great matchup. Well, I'm talking. Chael Sonnen. I understood. I mean, that wasn't really a marquee matchup.
But Chael Sonnen is.
He sold that fight.
He sold it.
Yeah, he sold that. But I think for the fight enthusiasts who want to see, pound for pound, good guys against good guys. Teixeira and Jones. Wow.
I want to see it.
There you go. Obviously, it was Silva.
It's a great fight for many reasons, and the reason why is because of John Jones' athleticism. Glover Teixeira might be the toughest guy in the world. I mean, really tough and in your face, and he's very well rounded. And then you got John Jones, who's also an incredible athlete that can do it all. But at the same time, Glover Teixeira, man, is a real deal. I'd love to see that fight. Well,
we're going to be talking more of the little guys coming up in Section 2. UFC 163 positions coming up for the main card next on 101sports.com.